Welcome to this lesson on calculating 50%, 25% and 75% without a calculator. Let's jump right in. So how do we do it? Well, thankfully, working out 50%, 25% and 75% are all quite easy to do. To find 50% of something, we simply have to half it. That makes sense because 50% is half of something. Now 25%, we need to half it and then half it again, which also should make sense because 25 is half of 50. Now the slightly trickier one to figure out is 75%. Now we get that by adding 50% to 25%, and that gives you your 75%. So hopefully, let's have a look at a few examples and see if we can crack some of these questions. First of all, these first three questions are all linked together. They all build up using £500 to see the progression. Okay. So what is 50% of 500? Well, that is simply half of 500, which is £250. Okay. Next one. What is 25%? Well, 25% is half of 500. And we know half of it is 250, so half of half is £125. What is 75% of £500 though? Well, to do that, we will need our 50%, which is 250, and our 25%, which is 125. We need to add them up to get our 75%, which is 573, or 375. Let's have a look at three more questions that aren't related, so will be a little bit harder. What is 50% of 350 kilograms? Well, that is half of 350. And you can break this down. What's half of 50? That's 25. Half of 300, 150. Add them together. 175 kilograms. Next up, what is 25% of 800 meters? Well, that is going to be half of 800. Half of 800 is 400. Half of 400 is 200 to give us 200 meters. And then finally, what is 75% of 1,500? Well, to do that, we will need 50% and 25%. And that will give us our 75%. Now 50% of 1,500 is half, which is 750, sorry. And half of 750, well, half of 50 is 25, half of 700 is 350, so it's 375. Add them both up to get our 75%, and that is 5. 5 plus 7 is 12, so we need to carry the 1 there. 7 plus 3 plus 1, that will be 11. I'll be lazy and carry the 1 just at the end there. And that was milliliters. So 75% of 1,500 milliliters is 1,125 milliliters. Let's have a look at our main task then. So pause the video, have a go at these questions. And if you're feeling up for it, have a go at the challenge questions at the bottom. Okay? Best of luck. Okay, so if you've replayed the video, it means you've finished the questions. I actually have a bonus challenge question for you guys to try if you're up for it. Here is the super challenge question, as it were. Okay? So pause the video again for this if you'd like to have a go. Best of luck. Okay, onwards to the answer for the main task then. here are the answers for your main task. Pause the video if you need to mark them. And here is the answer for the challenge question. Very well done if you got that right. And then finally, here is our checking question for the lesson. Fiona runs a craft store selling jewellery. Her materials and costs last month were £2,060 and she made a 10% profit. How much was her profit? So we need to figure out what is 10% of £2,060. Okay, so 10% of £2,060. So if you'd like to have a go at this, pause the video. Otherwise, let's have a go. So we've not done 10% before, okay? But actually, the way we find 10% of a number is by dividing by 10, okay? You may know that. A lot of people get this confused with the rest of them. They think to find 50% you divide by 50, to find 20% you divide by 20. None of that. It only works for 10%, unfortunately. So we've got our 2,060. I want to find 10%. As we said, we're going to divide by 10. 2,060 divided by 10 is £206. And we are going to be using 10% next lesson to find things like 5% and 15%. Thank you for listening, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye now.